You're listening to Small Business in Small Bites, a podcast designed to help you better understand your customers, your business, and even yourself one easily digestible idea at a time. Now here's John Preston.
Today I want to take a moment to talk about two words that are often used interchangeably in the business world, but in fact have very different meanings and work in very different ways. That is advertisements and sponsorships. Advertisements include things like billboards, these signs you see in businesses and signs in yards. I mean, those are all forms of advertising. Where sponsorships, on the other hand, involved maybe ads in community magazines, ads on television around your favorite show. Those are sponsorships. Your name on the back of a Little League jersey. Those are all sponsorships. Now, what's the difference between the two? They both do one thing in common. They put your message in front of people. They both work in that way. They both do that very effectively. However, beyond that, there's a very clear, distinct difference. Advertising tends to take away from the experience and be intrusive. When you're on your favorite website and a pop-up ad pops up, it does not make you feel good. Same thing goes for you're driving down the interstate. If you're driving down the interstate and you're enjoying this beautiful scenery of the mountains in the foreground and you see a billboard, that does not actually add to your experience. It takes away from it because advertisements by their very nature tend to be intrusive. I mean, think of how many websites are out there now where you can go to them for free and see ads or pay something to not have to see the ads because the ads are intrusive. On the other hand, sponsorships give back to the community. When you put your sign on a Little League fence, that gives back to the school. When you sponsor a community magazine that's sent out for free, that gives back to the community because you're providing them with something that makes them feel better. When you put your name on the back of a Little League jersey, that parent doesn't have to buy that jersey because your name's there. You're giving back. So when you're thinking about how you're going to spend your advertising dollar, keep that in mind. If you're doing a direct response campaign that you want people to know immediately what's going on and you don't care if you interrupt them or intrusive in their situation, then by all means, do the advertising because that's going to get your message out. But if you're looking to build your long-term brand, look at those sponsorship opportunities because that's what's really going to make an impression on the people. People like to do business with companies that share their values. And when you give back to the community with your advertising dollars, that's a sign you're sharing their values. So really kind of keep that in mind when you're making that decision. Once again, it always comes back to what you're trying to accomplish, short-term versus long-term, branding versus direct response. But know that the what you're choosing can either take away from an experience or add to it. Just think about the early days of television, how powerful it was that the detergent companies sponsored those early television dramas. And as a result, those to this day are still known as soap operas because those businesses gave back to the community. Those shows wouldn't have existed if those businesses hadn't sponsored it, and that can be incredibly powerful. So just keep that in mind. That difference between advertising and sponsorship can really go a long way towards building your brand in the future.